What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and this is your match reaction to Brentford 1, Everton 1, a game that, if Brentford could finish, I'm not even going to say they I mean, they hit the woodwork 3 times in this game. We got caught on 3 counter-attacks in the first 25 minutes. Defensively, we looked all over the place today. Like, literally, it weren't just a case of, like, saying, oh, there was a couple of chances. Brentford deserved to win this game. Like, they did. Like, we had chances as well. I'm not going to sit here and say we didn't. But on the face of it, as you look at it and you go over the game, Brentford deserved to win. Everton were okay with possession. They were fine with possession. There was a few moments of stupidity again, you know, like, for example, Holgate smashing the ball to Pickford, and a few times where Cody and Tarkowski sort of just put Pickford under pressure for no reason. It was a game defensively that you could question, you know, all of that stuff that we'd seen for the last few weeks. You didn't really see. The goal for Brentford was pathetic, and we'll go through it in a minute. So let's talk about the game in detail. First 10-15 minutes, Everton dominated the ball, I would say. I think possession-wise, they're probably up about 60-40. But the chances, which were fairly few and far between at that point, I think that Iwobi got a shot off on the edge of the box that he just put into the keeper's hands. But Brentford always looked dangerous down Patterson's side, always, whether it was Mbrumo or whoever would get down that side and cross that ball in. Tony was always a threat. And there was always that chance. They had a couple of 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s from, from Everton attacking. It was quite poor, and a better team would have definitely scored. There was one moment where it was literally 3v1 and Patterson managed to get a rebound off a Brentford player who rebounded it back to Patterson, who then managed to clear it. But, you know, if that was a better striker, he would have maybe took a touch there and scored, or, you know, done something productive with it. He didn't. And Everton kind of, from an attacking sense, grew into the game a little bit more. You know, they were finding a little bit of freedom. They were finding the horizontal balls, Cody, Tarkowski, Patterson, Mikalenko. They were finding these balls in behind the Brentford defence, very similar to how we scored last week against Forest. And it was a great ball over the top. Gordon, lovely touch out of his feet. He takes another touch just because I think he's trying to get away from the Brentford man, and slots it home, and that makes it 1-0 Everton. And, you know, everyone's going, oh, Anthony Gordon, and all this positivity, and he's working hard, etc. And fair play to him. He did all right. I can't fault him. Second half, I would say he wasn't as loud, but it was what it was. You know, it was what it was. Brentford definitely stepped up. You know, there was overhead kicks. They hit both posts. They hit the crossbar. Corner coming. Great overhead kick. Again, I think that was Mbrumo. Hits the bar. Iman Toney with a header. Hits the post. They hit the post early on, about 11th minute. A shot from just outside the box. I think it was Norgard. Hits the post. Brentford absolutely deserved to win that game, but they didn't. And that's going to be the positive in a minute. The second half, yeah, look, I'm going to criticise Lampard now quite heavily. His substitutions, his decision-making today was pathetic. Like, it was inept. It wasn't even like, it wasn't even close. It was actually inept. He takes off Onana, who, by the way, had a really good game. Look, from an attacking sense, he wasn't brilliant, but he was always there. He was always an option. He was winning the ball. He had that energy in the middle of the park. He had that height, which helps. And he subs him off for Tom Davies, and all of a sudden you lose all of those attributes and you bring on Tom. And look, Tom hasn't played particularly badly this season, but against a physical Brentford side, you need physical strength in the middle of the park. You know, Iwobi, to be fair to him, that was probably his worst game of the season. Not criticism, he's been played out of position all season, and he's played really well in most of the games, so I'm not going to sit here and criticise him. But, you know, Onana, when he was on, did really well. And he won't be playing off him, did all right. As soon as he changed that, I genuinely feel like they walked through midfield, that they were allowed to carry the ball. And because Tom hasn't got that natural pace, it killed us. It absolutely killed us. And it was only when we went 1-1, which I'll talk about in a minute, he brings on Rondon and to hold the ball up the pitch. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. Now, look, I appreciate he's playing with essentially his hands tied behind his backs. We're 4 games in and we've only signed a striker, and you can absolutely categorically understand that Neil Maupay was not first on anyone's itinerary at Everton. Like, he was not going to be first choice. He wasn't. We all know that. We ain't stupid. But the facts are, we couldn't even get that deal done in time. So he couldn't start today. Because I'm telling you, if he'd have signed yesterday, he'd have been straight in the team yesterday. That's how far Everton Football Club have fallen. He would have been straight into the team. He would have started for me. Dwight McNeil, again, very little. Very, very little. £15 million. Now, I know in the grand scheme of things, in footballers' prices these days, it's not a lot of money. But honestly, it's money that Everton didn't have to go and spend. I have not seen anything to make me go, yeah, he's got something. It was just frustrating. It was just really frustrating. It was like, come across like Gordon Ramsay then. It was like watching Everton from last season. That is exactly how I can describe it. And the goal they score is paramount pathetic. Ball comes over, and honest to God, lad at the front post gets a flick. It goes straight through 4 Everton centre-halves or players that are standing in a line, and Iwobi isn't even looking at Yano. He isn't even looking at him. He's standing literally half a foot behind him. He doesn't even look at him. And that costs us the game. That costs us a massive 3 points with some of the fixtures we've got coming up. It wouldn't surprise me if we're still in the bottom 2, if we end up in the bottom 3. I don't know how the table's looking at the minute. I don't tend to look at it. But again, we're 5 games into the season as of next week, and this is what we are. This is where we are. Honestly, like, we can be as solid as we want to be, but if we can't put the ball in the back of the net, we ain't staying up. Like, people are sitting here, people are genuinely sitting here telling me, oh, if we've got a striker, we'll stay up. Is Neil Maupay that man? Is Neil Maupay that striker? I said at the start of the season, the signings have been fairly positive. Tarkowski, Cody, leadership, Anana, positive. We needed a front man. We needed someone who could put the ball in the back of the net. Because you saw it. You saw it. The same thing happened. Anana plays a lovely ball on the outside of his boot. About 55 minutes, 60 minutes. Lovely ball. Damari Gray is onto it. And last week, he's 1 touch and shoots. This week, he takes 2 touches, he gets caught, he tries to do a pirouette, and then it goes out for a corner, which comes to nothing. It's just... what? So yeah, nah, it's 1-1. Everton, after 4 games, have got 2 points. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, and defensively, those players need to look at themselves today. But I'm also going to say Lampard has to look at himself. I'm not a Lampard out person. I'm not going to sit here changing my mind on that already. But today, he was naive. And he was naive last week at home to Forest. Now look, managers do that. It happens. He hasn't got a massive squad to pick from. But if he wanted to do something, my substitutions would have been Dwight McNeil off, Rondon on, and that's what I would have done. at 60 minutes. That is what I would have done. Rondon to get that ball and keep it in their half. I don't care if we're shooting or beating people or just keeping the ball. Just keep it away from our defence, because today they looked poor. But no, Lampard goes, no, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take off my only natural centre midfielder in that team today. I'm going to take him off. I'm going to take him off and I'm going to replace him with somebody that got a knock midweek against Fleetwood and hope for the best. If Onana's not fit, he didn't look unfit to me today. He didn't look unfit at all. He looked absolutely fine. He actually looked frustrated when he went off. So yeah, Everton draw 1-1 with Brentford. I haven't got anything else to say. I haven't. It is a positive result, because if you'd have said to me at the start of the game, you're going to draw 1-1 away with Brentford, I probably would have took it. But having seen 82 minutes at 1-0, yeah, that hurt, because it was stupidity that has cost us that game today. So guys, leaving it there, please.